Hey Trekkies, welcome back to another Yelling About Star Trek video. My name is Christian Fox, and this is a channel where I yell at you about all things Star Trek for your amusement. Today, I wanted to make a small video acknowledging the passing of Nichelle Nichols and to sort of reflect on her lasting legacy as Uhura. Now, this is not going to be a very long video because I do plan on having a larger and more substantial discussion about Uhura and what she meant to me and what she's meant to all of us as fans and her legacy in this week's upcoming Yelling About Star Trek podcast. So this video is going to be very short. Nichols was such a revolutionary actor because she was one of the very first Black women on television to be given a role of substance. Now, in the 1960s, Black women and Black men were given parts on TV and in film, but these parts were often very menial roles like servants and maids. So because Uhura was the communications officer on a starship, and not just a starship, but the flagship, and also the rank of a full lieutenant, was a huge deal. And looking at Star Trek the original series today and looking at Uhura's role, it seems kind of menial in that she's really only opening and closing hailing frequencies. She's not given a ton to do. So by today's standards, it seems kind of like, oh yeah, I get why it's important, but it's really not a whole lot. But if you look at it now, and if you look at it from the time, it was a big deal in the time because again, she was a woman, she was Black, and she was given a role of authority. But not only that, she also paved the way for other actors who were Black or women or anyone who was marginalized to come in and to be given these great roles. And even going beyond other actors, just looking at Star Trek, she paved the way for other actors to come in and play Uhura. So now we have Uhura in the Kelvin universe, and she's played amazingly. She's given a lot to do. We now have Uhura in Strange New Worlds, and she's being given a lot to do. So without Nichelle Nichols in Star Trek the original series, it's very likely that we wouldn't get these new and improved versions of Uhura. And so that's something that, even though it seems a little bit menial when you go back and look at it, it's so important, so foundational to the things that we love about Star Trek. So that is huge. But even looking at TOS and looking at her in that series, while she didn't always have the most important thing to do on the show, she did actually have a number of really great moments that really just showed us how awesome Uhura was. A few that come to mind are the time she was able to break through Adonis's force field in the episode Who Mourns for Adonis, the time that she stood up to evil Sulu in Mirror Mirror, and in my favorite movie of all time, The Voyage Home, she was able to translate the call of the probe. And without her doing that, it's very likely that Spock would not have been able to figure out that the call actually was the call of a humpback whale. So without her translating that message and making it sound like it was being heard from underwater, it's very likely that the mission would have failed and Earth would have been destroyed. It's because of moments like that Uhura really was so important to the fabric of Star Trek the original series, even if she wasn't always given the most to do. Nichelle Nichols may no longer be with us, but her legacy will endure and she will never be forgotten. But what about you? What are some of your favorite Uhura moments? What does she mean to you? Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. And in the paraphrased words of Captain Kirk, I shall see you out there. That-a-way.